Let's go. Raised in the Magnolia, ran through the yoke. Jumped out the window, landed on the porch. I was yelling heads up when I saw them folks. Miss Shirley had the weed, gangsta had the coke. Nigga wasn't rich, but he wasn't broke. And I ain't never fixed shit unless the shit broke. Swimming in that water, I ain't never float. Never stopped a red light when I was on go. Started as a rookie, then became a pro. Traded in my 50 for a Kango. Ain't no nigga could tell ya I ain't live it or tell ya I ain't did it, cause I am one of the realest. Best for the summer, trucks for the winter. Catch me in the fur, a fox, a chinchilla. Minding my own business, cause business was doing well. On the highway to heaven, but sending niggas to hell. Black 38, I ain't never left a shell. Kicking doors in, I ain't never ring a bell. Black shell toes, I run like the MC. Light gray Benz, the kid was AMG. I'm a A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You back with the OGs. This is another session of Choppin Game. I'm your OG Cello. I got my right hand with me.
Woody.
And today we got a special guest. Not only my partner, the homie, family.
Real nigga.
Big homie Mac.
What's happening? What up, y'all? What up, this Mac?
Say, first of all, we're so glad you're home, my brother.
Oh, the dummy.
Definitely appreciate that, bro. I'm so glad to be home. You know?
I can definitely understand that, bro. Like, as in through the years, I know a lot of us been anticipating you coming home, because of the situation, and we all knew that you wasn't guilty of the crime, right?
Right.
But we understand how the system works.
Right.
So a lot of us, we was going to bad as in writing things for you, like as in writing things for what you call that thing where they got everybody writing?
Petitions.
The petitions
Yeah,
and all that kind of stuff.
right.
With a lot of petitions and all that kind of stuff. So what was the process of you actually coming home?
Well, I had to file for clemency. You know, for those who are not familiar with clemency, clemency is basically like when all else fails in courts. You know, once you've been down, I think over 30 year time, you basically petitioning the parole board and pardon board, and you're asking them basically you're basically asking for mercy, for leniency, right?
Okay.
And I petitioned to the board a couple times, and this last time they granted me parole eligibility. And once I got parole eligibility, the next thing was to go to a parole hearing.
Okay.
And I got granted parole eligibility on February 22nd. And on June 22nd, I went to the actual parole hearing, and that's when I was released.
On June 22nd, that's the day you was released?
Yeah, that's the day I was released. I made parole that morning, and by that afternoon, man, I was finally, after 21 years in one day, man, walking out of that building.
For a crime you ain't commit.
Yeah.
For a crime you ain't commit.
For a crime I didn't commit.
And you still had to ask for the mercy.
Right.
That's fucked
So that's what I'm saying.
So it wasn't like an exoneration.
That's what I was about to ask you. Exactly.
It was basically, it wasn't through the courts, because, you know, you had to get exonerated, you got to go through the courts. So basically, I just went to the parole board asking them, like, yo, I done did my time as constructively as I can. I done did all of the programs. I did everything that was required. I volunteered. You know, I did a whole lot of stuff in prison, basically to put myself in a position to be eligible for something like this. And I petitioned that last time, they finally granted it. So I was cool with that. Of course, I wanted to be exonerated. More importantly, I wanted to prove to the young man's family that I didn't kill him. But you know, we still have avenues open to do that as well.
Yeah, your name need to be clear, bro, because, you know, me and you was in Hunt together, bro, and you actually, we talked about this, bro.
Yeah.
And I want the brothers to understand something, bro. If you know, this man could do all that time for a crime he didn't commit, what you think they're gonna do to y'all for crimes y'all actually commit?
Right.
You know what I'm saying, bro? I mean, they didn't fully exonerate this man, and then on top of it, they got him on a silly parole for a crime they know he ain't commit. They know, they actually, listen, the court system, the parole board, the people who granted, they actually know he didn't do this crime, bro. And they still refuse to just exonerate him, period, bro. And that's wrong.
And what we thought, like, that's what we thought when we first was hearing about you coming home. Like, we was thinking like you had been pardoned. But this is not that situation.
No.
Well, no, pardon, I guess, is a lot of times people get pardoned after they get released. That's basically clearing your record.
Right.
Well, what happened for me is I was actually eligible for parole in 2024. That would have been like 85% of the time I was actually sentenced to doing. But 3 years earlier, you know, it's obviously 3 years earlier. It's 2021, and basically they just granted me early parole.
Okay.
You know, something that I would have got 3 years from now.
You
Anyway.
got it
Nah,
anyway.
don't get
But
me
not for
wrong.
sure,
I'm
right.
I'm very grateful for
I can
it.
definitely.
I promise you.
See, so let's talk about some of that. Me and you always talk about the thing that you were doing, like when you were incarcerated, like the way you was helping prisoners and stuff like that. Like, how you adjusted to actually being in jail? That was your first time actually going to jail?
Yeah, well, before then, I got picked up for a traffic ticket, like
In and out.
That's your
that
first
was
time
not-
going
right.
to jail.
So basically, what kept me, I would say, what really helped my sanity is basically helping others, and particularly those who I felt were in even more, I guess you would say, in worse situations than I was. Like, man, I was in a dorm with guys who had been locked up like 30, 40 years. In fact, there was one guy, and he's home now, and you know, I don't know if you want me to mention his name, so I wouldn't, but I watched this man be as humble as he was, and he had been locked up 46 years for a rape that he didn't commit. And you know, he was finally freed by the Innocence Project, helped get him out, man. And it was people like him in situations like that that reminded me that, you know, if you think you got it bad, man, they got people that have it more. So it was stuff. It was those type of stories that made me look into myself and basically try to find ways to constructively do the time, and mentoring younger guys was, I would say, like the most important thing that I did, not only hopefully for those young men, but for myself.
Right.
Because it was therapy for me, because I wasn't
Kept
able
you
to
sane.
be there for my son. So it helped me basically deal with the void that was missing without being able to raise my son.
So listen, me and you laughed about the situation that happened after the hurricane, right?
Mm-hmm.
When Orleans Parish prisoners was brought to where y'all was.
Right, that was at Winfield, yeah.
All
That's
right.
before I got the hunt. That's when I was
So
at
when
Winfield.
so this was after the hurricane. So they dropped
Right.
Orleans Parish prisoners in Winfield.
And Jefferson Parish together. They just stuck them in the dome. They stuck them in the
Chaos.
dome. They really didn't know. They didn't know who. They didn't really do enemy checks or none of that at the time. And they took the dorm I was in. They took us out of our dorm, put us in the school building, and they put those guys in our dorm, right? And you know,
Chaos.
Oh hell,
they didn't know what they
Of
didn't
course.
really know what was going on. You know, to their credit, they were trying to help, but I mean, it was already a fire. It was brewing.
Who come to the rescue?
Um,
Come on, get yourself some credit, bro. Come
Well-
on, bro. Come on, bro. Come on,
the
bro.
way it kind of happened was the chief of security came to me and he asked me to gather up some guys that were from that area, like to go basically talk to those guys and kind of calm things down. So I said, well, you know, if you want me to do that, chief, you gotta let me buy these guys some cigarettes, cause you know, I know cigarettes gonna calm people down. So not promoting cigarettes, but I went. We bought a gang of cigarettes, me and my homie Diesel, and I think it may have been one other person that was with us. And we went over there, man, and we gave the guys some cigarettes, and we just started talking to them, and you know, things kind of calmed down a little bit. But I think that, you know, it was a combination of me and a bunch of other guys that I would say get the credit for that.
A bunch of other guys who
He was the peacemaker, but he telling you the truth. You just needed somebody to, you know, get somebody.
Yeah.
And they gonna respect him because everybody know his situation. So if Mike, you gonna listen to Mike, man. Well, hear what he got to say, bro.
I'm just thinking of the situation of me being locked up for something, for a crime that I didn't commit, and adjusting to it. Like,
Right.
I've been through the system of it, but not for crime that I haven't committed.
Right,
And
right.
that's a fucked up
And
thing, bro.
that's
Right.
that definitely, and just going through that process, like just to put myself in that state of mind is hard.
Right.
And I know, like, actually, I know you. Like, we come up together. We come up around each other, right?
Right.
So I knew a lot about the situation.
Way
That
back,
made
too.
it even worse, you know, as in knowing that you was a person who was not guilty of being put in that position.
Right.
Years later and a few months after, it is a blessing because you are home.
Right.
But like Adam, we still gotta. I always said this about the system. I was like, I was more than happy for you to be home, but I was like, we still gotta look at the system.
Right.
Like that's the biggest thing. Like
How tore up it is?
yes.
Yeah.
Because all us got kids, like they can be put in that position. Like, and that's what I look at it as to where that could be any one of our kids.
Right.
That's the biggest thing about it.
Say, you know the funny thing you talking about, as I said, and when me and Mac was in her on the wall, and he was telling me the story, you know, I had to salute him, because most dudes in this situation would have told, bro. You know what I'm saying? He knew he didn't do that. He was trying to just get away from the scene, and you know how people pointing up fingers at the celebrity,
Right.
trying to get a payday and all this old stupid ass shit. Sure. But in the whole essence, I had to salute him, because I'm like, man, you're a bigger man than me, man. He was like, what you talking about? I said, I had to put change on that boy head.
I didn't want to state that part, but I was going to say for the record, he told me some other gangster stuff outside of that.
Oh, he gonna say.
Shit,
That's just for the record.
But that's me. I don't want to say, but I salute him. Because a lot of dudes do that talking, and this man really walk that walk.
Well, I tried, and you know, it was, yeah, but go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it take a lot for a man to do that, but you're a bigger man, and I told you that then, and I'm telling you that now.
You sure did. You told me that thing we was sitting in the day room.
That's right.
You told me that.
You swallowed it. I mean, you took it like a champ, bro. When most niggas would have folded under pressure, bro. And that's what you call, you know what I'm saying, being real, not only to himself, but to his craft that he was trying to portray out there.
And I'm gonna say this too, just to piggyback off of what Marcelo was saying about the system. One of the things I think that just us as a community, as a society, need to do is just take a look at ourselves and consider that the system is actually made up of people like me and you, right? And so the system is not this separate thing that's outside of us. And I think we all play a part of how this system works. In the hood, we had a G code. You know, nobody talks, and that's the code I grew up under. So that's the code that I've been basically, I guess you would say, living by. You know, most of my life. And I think it starts that sometimes that plays a part, and then you have gung-ho investigators who, of course, they're trying to get the biggest fish they can get. And I think that sometimes because they can't get any cooperation, they basically do what they feel they have to do. And I think it's all wrong.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and they do what they got to do to try to get a conviction. So I think it have to really start at the bottom. I think a lot of the, I ain't gonna say a lot, I think some of the investigations get lazy. People get somebody in custody, or they hone in on a certain person, and basically they try to, instead of you being innocent until proven guilty, you basically guilty till you proven innocent. If we got you in here, then we gonna basically do what we got to do to tie this crime to you, rather than the other way around.
Right.
You know, and I don't like to insinuate that race plays a factor in everything, but however, I will say that oftentimes with people that don't look like me, the investigations happen before the arrest.
Of course.
Whereas when it's people that look like us, a lot of times the arrest happens and then the investigation, if that makes sense.
Definitely.
Right, it does.
See, what I can say about you is you didn't come out like mad. You didn't come out, you wasn't on no angry shit once I seen you when you came out.
Should be.
No. You wasn't angry by far.
I was, what we say in prison? I can't, well, it's a cancel culture, I can't say it. But I'm gonna say I was happy as a blank, 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 blank.
Right. You want me to tell him?
No.
No, he definitely don't want you to tell him.
I felt like for real, I was happy.
Say, on the thing of that, right? Like, as the music wise, you know we considered you like out Nas, right?
Yeah, I've gotten that comparison a lot, and that comparison is kind of humbling, and it put a lot of pressure on you, you know, because Nas a beast, man. I mean, Nas a dog, and it always was. It always felt good to be even, you know, listed or considered, you know, in the same conversation as Nas, but I got some work to do. Nas got about 10, 12 more albums more than me, so Nas, I'm letting you know, man, I got to put some stuff out. I'm coming.
So was it true about the record that you and P did with Nas on it? That was your record at first?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a record for your album.
Right, it was a record. It was a song that I put together. Nas wasn't on it yet, though. I put the song together. I brought it to P's house, and I was like, yo, this is what he was like. You been working on stuff? I was like, this is what I've been working on. So he heard it, and he was like, man, look, what you want to do with that? And I was just like, man, this is my baby, this, that, and the other. But then he made me an offer that I kind of couldn't refuse. And you know, sometimes the stomach and the brain have an argument.
I've been there.
When the stomach and the brain have an argument, 9 times out of 10 the stomach is gonna win.
You
know, that's how that.
I definitely been there. See, I remember back in the game, everybody was talking about the album with you and BG.
Yeah. We never actually, me and BG never really got around to doing the album together. We did that one song when I was like, I won't say I was with Cash Money, but I was like
in between.
I was hanging around him at the time, and I was doing a few little gigs with him, and me and BG talked about it, you know, briefly, but it never materialized. And then, of course, we both went.
That was something hell of on the streets that a lot of people talked about.
I do it a bit.
How old you was when you first did the first record that was on the radio?
12. I think when I Need Wheels hit the radio, I think I was like 12. I think it was 89.
You probably remember that. I Need Wheels. That was
it was like 89. And
what company or something you with?
I was with Yo Records, and what's weird is Yo Records was actually a company out of Texas, but my producers were Gregory D and a young cat from the 7 Ward at the time, who is now a legend that we call Manny Fresh, and that's who actually did all of the tracks.
I heard that. That's what I got. I heard it was. I heard
Greg had his hand in everything.
Greg put his hand. Greg, he does have his. He does definitely put his hands in everything.
And he basically, man, I kind of credit him for being the first like artist or whatever to believe in what I had going on, because my uncle Bean, shout out to Bean basically went to Greg and was like, man, my nephew, you know, he be writing the songs or whatnot, and he heard me and the little group I had at the time, and my uncle basically was telling Greg that, man, my nephew is the one writing all of the songs. So Greg had told me that, man, when I get on and I get straight, I'm gonna come get you. You know, people tell you that, but I didn't really think he was gonna come do it, but he did.
Well, Greg, he sucked.
So that was soon right after the Ninja Crew blew up.
Yeah,
huh?
well, that was right after the Ninja Crew broke up.
Okay.
Because, you know, the Ninja Crew was Greg and Sporty.
Right. And Baby T, huh?
Baby T and Kenny D.
Right.
Rest in peace to Baby T and Kenny D. But when they split, that's when Greg got with Manny.
Okay.
That's crazy. I didn't know it was after. I thought it was during the time of that too, when it was on the rise. But I didn't know. I didn't actually realize it was after. So, how did you get to the point to even getting signed to No Limit?
Oh man, me signing with No Limit was a combination of a couple people. I think it was a little bit of Cain and Abel, a little bit of BX, a little bit of Fiend, a lot of KL.
KL
it was just a combination of people that were in P ear like, yo, you might want to check this cat out. And what was weird is at the time I was heavily into East Coast rap, so I really was unfamiliar with the No Limit catalog, and I had an opportunity to audition for Def Jam, and the audition went well, and they were actually showing interest, but I made a decision based on, you know, I was young, man. I was 19. I was like, yo, I could either go to New York and try this Def Jam thing. If it don't work, I'm stuck there in New York. I ain't got no money. Or I can stay down here close to home, where if anything go wrong, I'm right here by the family. So I think that played a part in the decision, and just wanting to stick out. You know, and I think at No Limit, if nothing else, I was able to stick out.
Definitely.
And I think if I'd have went on the East Coast, I probably would have just got
in the mix of it.
In the mix of, you know, other people that sounded like.
I definitely, because we was talking about, like, one day me and you were talking about styles, and we were just talking about the people that we like, right? And I was like, yeah, my style never sounded like nobody, because I'm more or less, I was into Cool G rap, so I was into East Coast. Who you was into from the East Coast?
Well, Cool G was definitely one of my favorites. Cool G, I credit Rakim for being my first teacher, because Rakim was able to do something that my school professors couldn't get. I mean, not professors. Rakim was able to do something for me that my teachers couldn't do, and that was to send me to that encyclopedia, because I wanted to know what this guy was talking about. And he was using words that I was unfamiliar with as a kid, and I like to learn. So just seeing this guy or hearing this guy say this stuff on these songs, and yet he's dressed like the guys on my corner. So that's why I connected with him, and he sent me to those books, man. And it was because of him that I started really reading and researching and trying to learn a lot of stuff.
Best lyricist in the world.
Hey,
Or the greatest.
got Rock him a monster.
What?
What about you and Soulja Slim? You and Soulja Slim relationship? I know a lot about it because I'm from
Yeah.
around y'all, but
Well, what was weird is Slim's mama and my mama went to high school together, and they were good friends. So I've been knowing Slim since I was literally like a child, and we went to elementary school together. But me and Slim, we never hung with each other. It was weird. We knew each other. We grew up together. He would see me, I would see him. Wow, was this, that, and other. We roll out. We started getting closer once he got to No Limit, and we was around each other a lot. But me and Slim always was cool. We always had a good relationship, and Slim just always had me laughing because Slim was a clown, man. What a lot of people ain't know about Slim is he joking all day long, man. Rib all day long.
That nigga was a
and he played. He was penitentiary
Big
jokes
nose,
all the
yeah,
time.
yeah, he was
all the
clown.
time.
Yeah, he a
He was
clown.
a
Definitely,
clown, bro.
all the time.
He was
clown,
penitentiary all the way, bro. When I saw Slim before I left, before Slim got locked up, and before I got locked up, we was out there in Baton Rouge. I came out. We was living in these apartments, and he was standing across the street, like right across the driveway from my apartment. And I walked outside at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. I went to go to my car, and Slim was on the balcony of the apartment complex with his legs crossed, with a newspaper, smoking a Camel. I said, this man still think he in jail. This man out of his mind.
Probably had a
He
cup
still
of Joe
think-
on side of it too. You know he probably had a cup of
Oh, he
Joe.
did. He had some
Say,
coffee. He
gotta
had
have the
coffee.
coffee. You need the
I
coffee
was
for
like,
the
this
early
man out of
morning.
his mind, man. He was penitentiary down.
Say, how important? I know we always all over the place to this chopping game, but how important was it to you for like adding your friends to support you when you was in jail?
Oh, well, I would say this to anybody who have loved ones in prison, man, support them. I have seen what happens to people when they don't have family support, man, and it's not good. You know, a lot of times it sends people to dark places mentally. It sends them to dark places physically, you know, and spiritually. And, you know, I think that having the support of my family and friends is what actually kept me sane and what kept me looking forward, you know, rather than getting consumed by the situation, the environment. So I would encourage anyone, what a camera, look dead in that camera. You got people in the joint, man, or maybe I should say that proper, in the joint. If you have any loved ones in the joint, because I'm about, this is my white voice. If you have loved ones in the joint, please go and visit your loved ones in the joint. They need you, I promise you.
Say, I seen that you learned. Also, what I seen that you could do is not just. I thought it was just with the piano. But you could do this shit with the guitar too. You could play all your own songs.
You play your, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Huh?
Say, nah.
I didn't know you were
Say,
into live instruments like
Man,
that.
I'm sitting by him one day. He played like 3 records on the piano. I saw him the other day. He played 3 records on the guitar. How you learn that kind of shit? You taught yourself, actually?
Well, see, the way my custody was set up, you know, it was like when you're incarcerated, you find things to do. Of course, and Vic can attest. You find things to do to pass the time and to ease the mind. So for me, music, because I love music, I basically used to go to the music room, man, the band room. Shout out to the Music Association.
Right.
I used to go to the band room and basically for hours at a time, man, and just take out all whatever frustration or whatever I was feeling at the time. I would just take it out on the instruments, and I just really basically it was self-taught. You know, there were people who helped me along the way. There were guys who gave me, hey man, maybe try this or try that, and shout out to them too. But for the most part, it was just dedication. Just going in there every day, grabbing either the bass, grabbing the piano, getting on the drums, just doing something to get that out. And I just done it repetitiously until I was able to hold a note, as you would say.
So you were promoting the concerts too, where they used to be having in the churches, huh?
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
I
That
used
was
to
the
do a little
show.
something.
They
else.
should be rocking up
So
there.
what you mean? What kind of concerts? Like as in what?
No, in the journey. Well,
Well, y'all gotta explain to the people. They
I
don't.
keep-
They don't. Y'all don't understand that.
well, I have to coin a term. It's called the jerk. The
All right, okay.
J-U-R-N-T. The jerk. That's what we call prison. And or the can, whatever. In the can, we got these
Definitely
little
can.
programs. We got these programs that we do, and they're like we have guest speakers that come,
Right.
you know, and we get all of the guys.
Supposed to be a
We give them
motivation.
food, little, you know, things, motivational little programs, and we have performances there. And sometimes I got on the mic. Sometimes I was playing keyboard for somebody, or you know, whatever they needed me to do at the time.
Sometimes Mystical got all the money.
Sometimes Mike got on the mic. You know, Mike gonna rock it. Mike rock it. Wherever he at, he gonna rock it.
He definitely.
He's just high energy, and guess what? That's his personality. That's not a.
He's a natural born
He's just
clown.
a.
He's a natural born
That's
clown.
not a. It doesn't require much effort for Mike to get hyped like that. That is his personality.
So I knew that was a hell of a joke for Mike. Jeez, man. I know.
Was it? It wasn't.
Look at him. He's been, homie's been everywhere. And we usually, we stay away from the joint or the can conversation because he's so far into them. You know?
No, I mean, I done come on, bro. Knock it off, Marcelo. I
Because
just
he
been
done-
around a little while, bro. That's all.
Y'all actually ran into each other independent, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, we was on
Yeah,
the same. We was on
that
the same
story
hill.
we was just telling you that conversation we had, it happened right there in the day room. Yeah, we had it was
in the
day-
joint.
In the joint.
Or the can.
Yeah, the can, with
But
the
see,
bing, whatever they want to call
I
it.
had to admire him, bro, 'cause when he sit down and really told, you know, you could hear shit from
Yes,
nigga
sir.
and it be a lot of hearsay, but when you
Mhm.
actually hear the story from, and I was like, damn, bro, that's, you know, your career got fucked up behind a bad move, and nigga would take his own.
A hell of a career, too.
Yeah, all you had to do was just step up right then and there, and he wouldn't have went nowhere.
But then we still got to think about the system because he wasn't given.
No, but but I'm just saying, the little dude, if he'd have stepped up right then and there, so I'm telling you, he'd have, I know the homie probably about regretted his decision at the time to keep his mouth closed as it went on, but man, come on, bro. He was the money maker. That's why I couldn't see the logic. If me and you together selling, I'm your partner, and I know you about to, you know, the world is yours, and if the matter, and I make a dumb decision, I'm supposed to own up to that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
And just to your, you know, to piggyback off what you're saying, I mean that's just anybody. Like no matter who you are, it wouldn't sit with me as a human being and just the way I was raised. It wouldn't sit with me to watch another man go through something behind something I done.
But that's
That wouldn't even sit with me. Like I couldn't even.
stomach it, bro. I mean,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
I
saying?
couldn't.
And then
I-
you know
that
this
wouldn't
nigga
sit
had
with me.
it just on top of that, but you know that it just was a lot that you come on, bro. Niggas supported. See, niggas don't think, bro. You won't live that life, but own up to your actions, bro. There's repercussions and consequences behind any action that you do, bro. And for that split second, I know you wasn't thinking, but you supposed to think after that. You know, it's supposed to settle to you what you actually done, bro.
And let me say this, just for the record, for those who may not know, someone did confess to it.
I was just about to ask you about it.
It
Too late.
you know, but I must still say that it takes a man to even do what he done, you know, to do that, because guess what? Some people have just been like, man, F him or F that.
It is what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
we
is
ain't
what
got
it
on
is.
it.
You know, yeah, but they got him, they ain't get me. You know what I mean? That's how some people see it. So I just think that what it all boils down to, what we all saying here is, man, responsibility. Men got to start being responsible, man.
Period.
We got to start owning up to, you know, don't do nothing if you can't stand by it, man. Because I know how I am in my life. I'm not going to do nothing that I can't stand by. If I did it, guess what? I did that. Now what? Where we go from there?
Right.
Right.
And that's what men do.
Right.
You know, when you're a man,
Yeah, what it
you about
is.
being responsible.
So let's talk about the music now. Where we at?
Um,
What we doing?
see, the way my it's
You
set up.
set up,
See,
son.
I was kind of
Come on
set
with
up.
the setup.
I was kind of set up to kind of deflect that question. You know, to kind of like bob and weave that mug. But nah. So we definitely, you know, music is my life. So just for the record, music is definitely coming, man. I can't. I don't know if I would be able to live and breathe without music. So definitely music is coming, and hopefully people will. I think people gonna like it. I think it got a little something to it. You heard me? I think it got a little something to it.
Say what you think about like the streaming systems and all that.
Oh man, I love it. In fact, the way the music business is set up right now is the way I've dreamed about it since a kid. I've always wanted it to be like this. Man, you know how much money these dudes making? Do you know? Shout out to everybody. Look. Yo, I'm here. What's happening? Let's get it in. Let's get it in.
I know we always did want to just have it the way we could just push a button, because in our time, man, we used to have to go to every state and promote.
Man,
like promo tour. These dudes don't even know what a promo tour is.
You had to have street teams. You had to have people go out and put posters on the wall. You had to have people go threaten DJs. You had to have all kind of stuff, man, was going on back then. It just was. It was a different ball game, man. And just to see, like, it's as easy as click.
1, 2, 3, yeah.
Now, of course, with everything comes the flip side of it is the oversaturation. I mean, they got too many artists. I mean, it's just, don't get me wrong. I think everybody is an artist in their own way. Yeah, I was about to say everybody's an artist in their own way. But it's definitely oversaturated, and without the record labels to be a filter, because at one time the record label was a filter for artists. Right. You had A&R people that saw, okay, you got talent, or you got what it takes, and you don't. You don't have that no more. So you just got an influx of all kinds. You got to kind of seek through, to find the diamonds. You truly got to find diamonds in the rough.
Yeah, definitely now, because there's so many of them. See, I actually like this part of the game too. I like this because you get to see I get to see a lot of artists from different aspects, but some I like, some I may not like. But it's somebody for everybody. I guess that's what we always say. Somebody for everybody.
Yeah, they got 7 billion people.
So they got a lot of trash out right now.
See, you gonna say that because
they got a lot of trash artists, but they got very few.
He can say that because he's not one of them artists, so he can say that.
Yeah,
see, we can't do that. We gonna get canceled. We can't do that.
What you think about that? The cancel culture.
He told me.
Who, me?
What you think about the cancel?
See, that's when I kind of start acting like I'm deaf. Looking at the wall, I be tripping.
But I mean, if you can do everything independent, you shouldn't have to worry about what the cancel culture has something to say. Because real gonna respect real.
Right. Now, I do think that, with respect to different movements or whatnot, because just for the record, I'm a person that doesn't like to offend anybody. Right. You know what I mean? Because I don't want nobody offending me, and I try to treat others the way I want to be treated. But at the same time, I think people are a little too overzealous when it comes to mistakes that other people make. People are going to make mistakes. People are going to say things. I'm pretty sure everybody that's listening has said some negative stuff about somebody before. We all do. We're human beings. The only difference is when celebrities do it, everybody is listening. So, it's like this big rush to, okay, get rid of them or cancel them. And I mean, I understand that you have some guys that just are too insensitive, but at the same time, I'll say that the public can sometimes be too sensitive.
Facts.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. And I think I just look at it as to where instead of canceling them, you should actually show the process of you teaching them that what they did was wrong.
Right.
Why y'all even think them dudes be wrong though?
I mean, it's like, because you gotta understand, like, the game has changed, so a lot of people are way more sensitive.
Okay, but I mean, let's
well,
just,
maybe it's not
let's
wrong.
I know that's
maybe,
what I'm saying.
Maybe
Let's cut through the chase, bro. You can't have it both ways, bro. You know what I'm saying? You can't be overly sensitive and then not be worried about the other person's emotions, because if I'm gonna be oversensitive for everything that you do. Then
you
what
need to
about
respect
me?
how sensitive I'm gonna be when you cancel me.
There you go.
Right.
See what I'm saying, bro? I mean, you know what I'm saying? Everybody entitled to their opinion, bro. So who's wrong?
Well,
if everybody entitled to their opinion, who's wrong?
I think it's all about perspective, and I think that was a great point you made. I think that people need to, if you need to be as sensitive to those that you want to be sensitive to you as well. I mean, I think that's where it starts. Treating others the way we want to be treated.
Me personally, I don't give a fuck about it, man. I don't give a fuck
but we
about
can't.
it.
I can't be that.
Why?
Because I'm an artist.
Why?
I'm over
but
here
listen,
somewhere.
bro. I'm a firm believer. A person can do whatever he wants in life, but I don't think you should influence somebody that's how could I say this? children. I don't think you should be influencing children's decisions by the action that you do. If that makes sense.
I mean, that's gonna happen.
Because you know what I'm saying. You can't influence a grown man. You can influence a child.
Well, what if that grown man has the thinking?
Of a child.
Right.
Well, you quite naturally you'll be able to, and then you can entice him and influence him. But that's all I'm just saying, bro. You know, some things should be kept for adults. Some things should be kept for children. Children should never be exposed to some lifestyles. You dig what I'm saying? Whether it's drug use, you know, it ain't just
right all across the board.
Yeah, all across the board. That children should, bro, until they get old enough to understand what they being exposed to, bro. That's
right,
it's
like a match. It's like a match is not a danger to me or you because we understand what fire is. We understand what we understand what it can do, and we know how to put it out.
Right.
Give that to a baby, and it becomes dangerous
weapon.
because this child doesn't have the knowledge or understanding of what this actually is. So I can agree to that, but I just think that people should treat others the way they want to be treated. I think if we all did that, I think we'd be good.
Say let me ask you this, Mac. You seen that the interview with Boosie and Charlamagne ago?
No, I didn't see it.
Man, go check that out, bro. You seen it, Cello?
Mm-hmm.
You seen Charlamagne ago reaction to what Boosie was trying to say, the way he was trying to express himself, how he kept trying to force the whole conversation to like he was negative to what Boosie was saying.
It's media.
Yeah, but I just didn't like the way that him and I'm gonna say the dude DJ Envy too. I just ain't like they how they antagonize the man behind this shit. But talking about what rap influenced back then, or rap influencing way worse shit than it's doing now. That's not true.
What you think about that? What you think about like as in when people blame us as rappers as in being that negative influence towards kids?
I think art imitates life, life imitates art. I think that the reality is, whether unconsciously or consciously, we are going to have a level of influence over the youth. That just is what it is.
Period.
I mean, because kids are in developing stages in their life, and when they're watching you, they learn. Everybody is, the way it was taught to me was like everybody is learning at all times, right?
Right.
Everybody's learning at all times. Now, what you learn determines, where you go in life.
And who you be.
Right, and who you become. So I think that it will be irresponsible of us to say that that we are not being role models, even if we don't want to be. But I will say that it is the parent's responsibility. The parent who is responsible for that child, is their responsibility to give that child the tools and whatever it is he's watching is their job to basically help them understand what it is, and it's their job to raise their child. I mean, I can't, even though those things have an influence on you, I can't just say that, those things it's not those things' responsibility to raise your child.
No.
If that makes sense. And,
No, that makes sense.
there's some other things that I probably want to say, but just to be straight up, straightforward with it, it's just parents got to raise their kids. What is the difference between those people who hear the same music
and become
become totally different, and those who listen to it and be influenced by it? And that's the variable that we all have to consider. What is that difference? And when we understand what that difference is, I'm almost 100% sure that it has to do with upbringing and parenting.
Right. Parents have to raise their
90%
kids.
of it.
At the end of the day, that's exactly it. Parents have to raise their kids. Like, I know I have a lot of kids, as in, you know what I'm saying? How many kids you got, man?
Not as many as you. Wow. I got
I've been kicking them. My dad always told me, make as many as you can take care of.
Oh yeah. I have one son, and I have some daughters, You know, I don't even like to use the word stepdaughter, but
Right.
they're my daughters, and so.
That's why I ain't named how many I had.
And yeah,
Cause you know, once we raised them, like my daddy taught me that too. You know, ain't no steps and all that. So I couldn't give you an exact count
number,
like that. Nah,
Right,
I couldn't
right.
even.
It's
I
over
left
60.
somebody out.
It's over about 60 though, Cello.
Oh, I can do. I'll take 60. I thought you were gonna say 16. You say 60.
60, yeah, with the 0, 60.
As in with the ones that I just take in, just looking out for.
right.
Cause some of it is just like that. So, like I know me and Fiend had a conversation. Me and Fiend was talking one day, right? And we were just thinking about, and this was right when you was about to come home. We were just talking about, boy, we can't wait to hear the music that you produce.
Well, actually, I can't wait either.
So,
And,
oh, it's bubbling.
You ain't been in the
It's
studio
bubbling.
yet, man?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, it's
Yeah.
bubbling. Oh, it's definitely bubbling.
I've walked in several studios. I'm leaving that.
I can
You
believe
walked
that,
in
bro.
several of them.
You know, I done heard some.
Looked
I
around,
done,
they were nice.
I done heard some, you know,
Say,
I done heard some shit they ain't proud about never hear
See the
again.
way it's
you
kind
got the setup.
Yeah, the way my mind and the way my PR team kind of set up. It's like I would talk to kind of bob and weave certain questions, but nah, we definitely. I can't wait, man. I can't wait for people to hear it. I hope they enjoy it, and I think they're gonna really, really like it. I think people gonna really like it.
You ain't got a date set for a single release or nothing yet.
No, and I see, I definitely was like in the blind purposely. I was put in the blind myself about that one because I probably wouldn't be able to hold that one.
Right,
So
okay.
to be,
I
for the
probably wouldn't be
scene
able
and
to
all
hold that water on my chest. Yeah,
definitely,
so
definitely not.
yeah, I'll probably be like, yo, it's coming out, blah blah blah. Look, yeah, but it's coming soon. Just for the record, it's coming soon.
So what else you been doing since you been home? How long you been home?
2 months and 4 days.
So what else you got going besides like the music? I know I've been seeing you producing and all kind of stuff. You ain't gonna say nothing about the production either.
Oh yeah, I've been doodling a little bit with the instruments. Just basically trying to get my foundation back straight. I just got a new studio and office. Trying to make sure the girls are getting to school, they're back and forth. Trying to get my son, trying to put that push behind my son, 'cause my son is real talented, man, and I just want the world to be able to hear his music. So, trying to get everything right.
Your whole family talented.
To put that push behind him. Speaking of which, and it was next is actually wanting to highlight my siblings because, just for the record, I have a brother who's a trombone player who's well known in the city. I have a sister who was actually the lead singer of a reggae band called Higher Heights. They used to perform on Frenchman Street. I have another brother who was a saxophone player with the Big Easy Brawlers. And I have another sister who is a prolific visual artist. She's a painter, and she do beats, and she raps, and she do a whole lot of other things.
Wow.
And my mother, of course, is an artist. She has the art gallery in St. Bernard Parish.
Great art too. She got a picture of your brother in there.
Y'all
And
like
so-
y'all like a Marlon Wayans fan, huh, bro?
Well, I wish we had the Marlon.
Wayans.
See, the difference is the Wayans family got the money.
Y'all
That's
probably get
kinda
it
the
the
difference.
mastermind on
Yeah.
run. But
So-
see, I know one thing, man. If you could maneuver them 21 years without having any kind of flaws in your jacket, you got a plan, bro.
Oh yeah, I definitely got a plan.
You gonna cut up.
Hey, sometimes I know, like we always say that God put you in positions for reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Like me and you spoke on that as in, and so you knew, like as in, you was put in a position for a reason.
Now, here's the weird part of the thing about that. You never really know, but you know, if that makes sense. Sometimes I didn't want to accept it. Trust me, man. I had those days where God wasn't my favorite person for a minute. I was just kind of battling, man, in my mind, just like, man, how could this, why is this? But, when it was all said and done, I always knew that it was something that was bigger than me that was guiding the situation. And no matter what I was trying, it was already set in stone what was supposed to be, right? And I I was given the strength to walk through it.
Right. That was the key.
That was
That's
the key.
folks.
I didn't want to accept it. I didn't want to accept it. I promise you that. Hey, just for the record, I did not want to go to prison for 21 years.
Especially for a crime you didn't commit.
Seeing the foundation that you have around you, I can see that. From moms, pops, your siblings, I can see you have a strong family around you.
Mm-hmm.
So I can just imagine, like, as in going through that, or you seeing people running into people in jail who don't have that around them. That's what's crazy.
Right.
Like, as in, because like I said, the first time I saw you when you came home, you wasn't on. I'd have been mad as hell.
Yeah, I was happy.
And
I was so happy I
That's
ain't know
an
what to do with myself.
understatement, bro. Nigga said mad.
I was so happy I ain't know what to do with myself. I was still tuition though. Now see this.
Come on with your tooth.
It's like
Come on with your tooth.
Huh?
Come on with your tooth.
You had a hookup since you been home?
No.
Oh,
look, just for the record, look, I think it was in the Undefeated article, or it was one of these articles, the writer, Dave, he was a good dude. I told him a story. He gave it a real whitewashed, rated PG version of it in the article. He said I recoiled. I think he said something to the effect of me recoiled my wife for asking me for some ramen, that I want some ramen noodles. But that's not what happened.
Oh.
What actually happened is we were walking through Target. Day 2, I'm home. Second day I'm home. We walking through Target, and my wife was talking to my daughters. Unbeknownst to me, my wife was talking to one of my daughters, and she was saying, "Hey, there go the noodles you were looking for." But in my mind, mind you, I hadn't been out 48 hours yet. In my mind, she was asking me, did I want some noodles?
Yeah.
So my immediate reaction was, I don't want no mother noodles. I've been locked up 21 years. I don't want to look at the noodles. So in
That's why I'm laughing.
so in the magazine, he kind of gave a very, you know,
Hey, you say you recall?
yeah, you know, he gave it some proper language, as you would say. But that's kind of what happened. And when I said it, it like it came out my mouth before I could think, and I realized,
Couldn't pull it back.
I was like, man,
You
I
was
gotta
at
go
home,
get in the
bro?
car. I was like, I gotta go sit in the car because I'm used to just being blunt when you're in the junk. You know, you being blunt and you loud because you got a whole bunch of people talking everywhere. So everybody is loud. We scream at each other, and it's like, man, I'm walking through this place, and the moment I said that, there was a guy who just looked at me like,
Everybody
oh,
looking at
crap, like, yeah, people looking at me like I was a science project.
I went to that. I already knew where he was going with it. That's why I
Say,
was
you
laughing.
started it when you asked him, did he do him a little hookup since you been on?
No, I did not make a hookup.
I did one, bro. So you.
Wait, do they know what a hookup is?
Yeah, they know what
You
one.
didn't explain that
No,
already?
I
no.
explained to him.
Oh, you did? You have
Remember I
explained to
told
him?
you that when I told you my girl came in and looked something about what is all that bullshit I got going on?
Wait, so explain to him.
I know
Come on, what
He
you
just said what it was. BS in a bowl.
In a bowl.
Man, I got noodles and tuna fish and eggs. I'm crying, cutting up onions. You know they make you cry. My girl wanted that shit. Man, what the fuck is you doing in my kitchen, man? Got ramen noodles burned in the pot. Sardine cans over the shit. That shit was fucked up, bro. I asked her, you want something? She said, man, shit look like cat shit. I want that shit, man. What's wrong with you, man? Man, Wacko made me think about this story, but that shit.
Oh,
Whack,
Whack,
Whack told me.
On the hookup, right?
Man,
Bro,
I
that's
did it
cool.
One time on it, bro.
You just had one hookup?
One, I ain't never tried this shit again, bro.
Man, I tried a moly when I was in the junk.
See?
One time. When I was in the junk. Man, I tried one moly. Never tried it again. I recommend don't nobody make a moly. And a moly, for those who don't know, is like a whole bunch of sweets and candies and stuff mixed together in some dough rolled up, sat
That
up.
good, though, if they make them right, though.
Oh no, it tasted wonderful. But see the way my body is kind of set up.
Oh, it'll make you shit like it. It'll make you shit like a mother.
Well, that's an understatement. They should market that as a laxative.
Yeah, but it's listen, this is what
It
you
was
gotta
something
understand.
serious.
That's to clean your system out from all the stuff that they feed you. Cause you know they feed you number rice.
Yeah, but I think that like not only cleaned my system out, I think it cleaned my record out and my jacket. My rap sheet was clean, everything was clean. It cleaned out everything.
They made it too rich, that's all it was.
Like, man, it was good now. It tastes good, but man.
Yeah.
Lord, my body wasn't ready for that.
So what's else on the horizon for you, Max, since you're home now, bro?
Oh well, I'm mentoring. Of course, I got this organization called Son of Saint that people may be familiar with. I go volunteer at Son of a Saint. Actually, I was ordered to do community service, but the weird thing is I had already had plans to do that anyway. Really for my own therapy and sanity, because that's what I did in the journey. For that, I mentored those guys, just basically trying to learn to connect with my son. And I think also what can't be said enough is a lot of these young boys that's in these, not a lot of these young boys that's in the street that should have Son of a Saints type organizations all around the country. These kids are innocent victims of crimes by default. And we say, what does that mean? Well, whether your parent committed the crime or not, and get taken away from the child, that child still suffers. Like a lot of people would tell me, well, your son, he know you in there for a crime he didn't commit. I say, but that still doesn't negate the fact that I missed major parts of his life.
That's right.
I mean, that doesn't take all that back. It ain't oh, your dad is in, so now we can rewind and make you a kid again so he can be there for all of that. No. Me and my son still have things we have to work through because that was a separation. Yes, I saw him at visit. Yes, I talked to him on the phone.
Right.
But man, I couldn't be there to see my son first go to school.
Right.
I couldn't be there to see him first ride a bike.
Right.
I couldn't see him, I didn't see him take his first steps. So all of those significant things, I'm sure that when he was a kid, when other parents were at conferences with their kids or was taking them here and there, he didn't have that. And those kids are what I like to call innocent victims of crimes, and without even being a direct victim of crime.
Right.
So that's kind of what the program is that you have, like it's guys for those kind of kids.
Yeah, so those fatherless boys. It was started by a guy named Sonny Lee. Sonny Lee is actually a good dude, and what really attracted me to the organization is I went there and I just I did some research on Sonny Lee, and then I went to the place and I saw that this guy was sincere.
Right.
And that's why I was drawn to that. And he was a fatherless boy himself.
Okay.
His dad used to play for the Saints, but died when he was young. So he started this organization and to help boys that were in situations that he was in, that grew up without their father.
That's pretty cool, bro.
Say, like as in the situation of people fresh coming, like a person fresh coming home from jail, like it's hard to get right back into the system of the free world.
No.
You don't think so?
I assimilated quick.
I mean, you're gonna assimilate because I mean, it's survival is gonna, instincts gonna kick in, as they say. Just like when you're for instance, when I was taken out of the streets and put in that environment, instincts kicked in. It was like, okay, you can either do one or two things.
Right.
You can either survive or you can die. One of the two, and I just chose to survive. And when we say die, we're not even saying physical death.
Mental.
Sometimes just, mental death, emotional death, spiritual death.
It's all kind of deaths you can
Cause say it's something that you always say, G. Like when what we needed to do to young kids, right?
Deprogram.
And
reprogram.
Say like so it's kind of explain that like as in reprogram.
I mean, see, when I'm gonna say my generation, when I was coming up, we wanted to be one or two things, either athlete or a drug dealer. Rap wasn't,
right.
That come a little later.
Yeah, 'cause the rap, we wanted to be a drug dealer.
That's right. See what I'm saying? But that's what we wanted to be. You know what I'm saying? And most neighborhoods had dudes in the neighborhood with that stand-up guy in the neighborhood that, took care of the neighborhood. He was shy, he had to ride, he played the part, what you see niggas doing on TV, but he really was living that shit like that. And what he said go in the neighborhood, never nigga defied it, You know, she was consequently replaced. So I ain't had to worry about my mom or my grandmother getting their purse snatched, or you know what I'm saying, or somebody carjacking them. You know what I'm saying? That type of shit, you know what I'm saying, going on. But so we try to model ourselves like that. Then music came along. Then you know, dudes wanted to be rappers and other things. You know what I'm saying? But basically now, you got kids that seeing role models that's not right, bro, and they following the footsteps. Whether he participating in life of crime and doing it the wrong way and telling them kids the wrong shit, or he just living the wrong lifestyle, bro. And they picking up on it and thinking that shit cool. So that's what I mean by deprogramming, reprogramming to be that stand-up guy, not to be the drug dealer, just to be a stand-up guy in general. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean by that, bro.
See, 'cause that's what we are. Like we putting together like as in like a little system to where it's what he called it deprogramming. But as in we just reach out to the youngsters and pull them in as much as we can.
These are good, huh?
Oh yeah, good water, good water.
Yeah, them kind
Yeah, them Choppin and water. That's why they got no label on.
Oh, all right.
You know, so that's what we try to do, like as in reach out to the
Yeah.
youngsters and more or less pull them in because we understand where they come from and a lot of things that's going on. That's why I asked you about that program that y'all have going.
I just don't want him to do the time that me and Mac did. That man did
Right.
21 years. I done 13 straight. I just don't want him to do that time. Bro. I'm trying to get them to see it as a better way to getting your bread and becoming something without having to go that path, bro.
And I think, like you were saying, I also think, man, that a lot of times the criminal lifestyle is glorified, right? Well, I would say the street life is glorified, but what part is not glorified is when those guys are actually in prison, you know what I mean, and going through what they're going through as a result of their choices. Because I know some guys, man, that have been locked up so long that if they had the power, they would go in the graveyard, dig them graves up, and blow Brett
And
back into them bodies,
bodies.
man, so they could get up out of that place. And that's the part that people don't, you know, they don't
They
see.
miss.
They don't see the hurting. They don't see the pain that, because, you know, of course, you know, with respect to victims of crimes, we see the pain in their families. We see, you know, what it causes. We can visually see that. But what people don't see is the pain in that individual that's been locked up for all that time for doing that. That person who has came to that point in his life where he actually and sincerely is sorry for what he's done and he's hurting, but he's stuck. You know what I
Well.
mean? And in Louisiana, there is no parole eligibility with a life sentence. You know what I mean? When you got a life sentence in Louisiana, that means life. That's a wrap. So I think that if we're gonna, if the street life is gonna be glorified, we need to also highlight what happens after those street life choices. You know what I mean? People say, yeah, I'm taking penitentiary chances, but you don't realize what you're actually saying, man. You know what I mean? You really don't understand what you're saying.
Until you in penitentiary.
Yeah.
Until you in penitentiary. And then you be
I
like,
promise
man, see, I tell a nigga all the time, you know what I tell him, man? When I tell him to do, that shit don't fall for it. That's fool's gold.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that shit was real too, but it's not. It's a big old illusion.
It is, man.
You know what I'm
It
saying?
is.
Until you really get there and you realize that how precious freedom really is.
Right.
You'll do anything to get it back.
And man, and that can't be said enough. Freedom. If this situation taught me nothing else, it taught me that freedom was the most important thing I could ever have.
That's right.
Family was it basically, man, you put things in perspective, man.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna tell you, for the guys that's out there thugging because you're trying to impress a girl, and the young ladies that's, you know, a lot of young ladies, they appear to be attracted to thugs. Well, that's even false, because as soon as those thugs get locked up for the very thugging that you
right.
was attracted
Go
to, you're gone.
They don't
You know
joke
what I
shit
mean?
no
You're
more.
gone. So,
You don't get a nickel from them.
you know, so I just think that should be considered. That
Might
you
get a
know,
one bump 2 or 3 times.
and then
That's for the first few.
That's for 2 or 3 times. After that, your car was 90
What is it?
Your car was 90 seconds. Please try again. Thank you. That's
the part of it that's the part of it that these youngsters need to know, man. That, you know, because a lot of in this day and age, what I found interesting is that a lot of stuff was done during our time for money. You know what I mean? A lot of crimes were committed, a lot of things. That doesn't justify them. Right. Trust me, I do not want to come across as a person that is condoning criminal activity. But when guys committed crimes, a lot of times money was the motive. What I've learned as of late, man, they don't even care about the money. I had a conversation with a politician here, man, one of the top politicians in the city. And we had a good conversation one day, and he was telling me, he said, Mac, he said, because I asked him, you know, what can I do to help? You know, as far as help these young kids, man. He said, Mac, was different. He says, man, they don't even do what they do for a financial incentive. Like they just doing it.
Yeah,
like, it's almost like they're just doing it for
the fun,
for fame. Like it's like the street cred. It's almost like I just want to be. I want to be Instagram famous.
You don't want to be Instagram whores.
And it's like, man, it's weird, man.
So that means like, so even if we put things in place for them to make some money, it don't detour the crime because they're not even on it. They're not even on it on them.
Yeah, but see, you gotta change the way a thing gonna settle. See, that thing I feel cool when you get them to understand that it's not. Then, and only then, will you be able to change their thought process.
Hey, I think where that come from? I think that come from us, right? The deprogram. That's the deprogram.
Yeah, I mean,
I think everybody play a part.
I got a few programs for them, bro. You know, I do. It's called ass whipping. Bring your ass over here and get this ass. You gonna see, you think, cause when you get up there, that's what they're gonna be doing. They're gonna be whipping your ass and chasing your booty, which you don't want to go up there. It don't make no sense, homie.
I'm just saying as enough stepping up as in the older cats, the ones who've been through this. Like we gotta be more vocal.
We gotta pull their coat, bro. We gotta jam them up now. So some of us, you gotta take them guns from them when you get them. You know, I mean, let's be honest, bro. If I got a little homie that's 14 years old and I see him carrying a big old gat, and I see him about to give it some niggas to go pull off a crime, some kind of way I gotta get him with me, talk with him. If I gotta buy that bitch from him, if I gotta lie to him and say, look, bro, I need to, nigga try and give me, let me buy that, bro. I'm gonna bring it back to you. Take it from him.
But that's how hard we work as in towards trying to stop it. That's what I mean.
Oh, yeah.
We work hard towards trying to stop
I mean,
it.
you know.
I definitely understand like as in how much we reach out.
Right. And shout out to all the dudes, man, who are, because you do have some brothers out there that's really, really putting in the work on the ground trying to help these kids, man.
Mac one of them. That's why I wore this T-shirt.
Yeah, Mac is definitely the one on
That's
there.
why I wore the T-shirt when I heard you.
I like what he's doing. I went over there like twice.
Motivation team.
Yeah, I went over there twice because those kids actually they don't have nothing for these kids to do. They need something, and man, it's when I heard about New Orleans East, man, it kind of broke my heart because when I left the streets, the East was like the suburbs, man. That's where you got like, you know, when you got you some money, you went and bought you a house in the East, and you felt like the Huxtables, like you made it. Like we moved to the East in '89, '88. And guess what, man? We moved in a little house in the East. But I was 11. But I was excited because we had a yard. I had never had a yard before uptown, man. We had never had a yard, so I was kind of happy about that, man. But you know, we only stayed out there for a year.
Folks, though. That's what we call it.
We only stayed out there for a year because we probably couldn't afford it. But you know, we moved to the East, and I was excited. I'm like, man, we're in the East. I can tell people, oh, I live in the East. You know what I mean? But now, man, I come back. And they're telling me like the East is like one big project, man. That was like heartbreaking, man. Cause it's like, wow, what happened?
They got people from everywhere there now. And
that's what I heard.
And the mixture just don't get along, bro. It's quite simple. Shout out to X-Wave too, bro. That whiskey bourbon. You know, shout out to Cheek Taco.
Well, tacos off the chain. You taste
tacos.
Favorite taco, please.
Them tacos fire. In fact, I hope they got some more.
Well, they got some more in there, bro. They definitely got some more.
Escalade Spirits. You know.
He's shouting out some of our sponsors.
Yeah, we got it. We got to let it make it fine.
Working the day fine.
You work me like a Mexican, man. Come on, you know how it goes.
See, I'm so glad they'll never have a sample that says that. But that's what he said. I work like a Mexican.
Shuttle was working me like a Mexican. That song is already done. I'm waiting for T. They gonna come on already. You gonna
All I want to say is shout out to whoever made them tacos. Them tacos were fire. Straight up. I'm gonna shout out the person who warmed it up for me. Them tacos were fire.
Say, bro. So, like, what else would you want the people to know as and about you that people don't know?
Oh man, I don't know. Like, 'cause people have so much have been asked of me, but I'm a pretty open book, man. Straightforward. If I had to say something that people would not know, man, when I was in the joint, I used to love watching HGTV. I used to love to watch people tear down and build them houses, bro. I don't know what it was about it, but I just used to love it.
That's why you been.
That's the only thing in the joint that I actually watched, because I didn't really watch TV. But when I saw that, I got hooked. Because I like building, I like creating, I like doing all that kind of stuff.
You was like that before you went to the penitentiary and then building and all that? Because I've been seeing you now.
Yeah, well,
all kind of
You
shit.
do carpenter work too, man.
Well, see, the way it's kind of set up, I'm like a shade tree carpenter. Right?
Wow.
You know what I mean? I just know how to hook some stuff up. I know how to take a little bit of this, a little bit of that,
It make it make
put it
sense.
together, make it work, make it
Sound
work.
good, bro.
Yeah.
I like that, bro. I like
That's
that.
how I roll.
So check this out. We've been to, what'd you say? I can't hear you, brother.
No, it was, well, I mean, I guess I can ask. Your relationship with D1.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, D.
What
D.
about it? Oh, D, man, D is, let me say this, just for the record, I'm gonna look in the camera and say it, man, D1 is one of the best people I ever met, man. I met
I
D
agree.
in 2008 or 9. He came to the prison to as a guest speaker for one of our programs, and from the moment I met him, he just had a vibe, man. He had a vibe of sincerity, and I think I like to think that I'm good at discerning people, and we just been good friends.
Yeah,
ever
his
since
spirit
then,
good.
man.
His spirit good. His spirit
He always lift. He's always lift me up rather than he's not somebody who ever come bring you bad news. There's always good energy when I'm around him. So he's definitely a person who I've grown to love over the years. Good dude.
He definitely has a
dude,
good
man.
spirit. Who else like as in that you feel like you develop relationships with after as in when your time back there? Like other people that you probably didn't know, but you develop relationships with them after you was locked up.
Oh well, several people, man. I actually met my wife while locked up, man, and she she's a godsend, man. I can't say how much I appreciate what she do, and just appreciate her as a person. So I met my wife while there. I met a young brother named Kane while locked up, you know what I mean? And Kane was a young kid who wrote me, and basically I mentored him through letters, you know what I mean? And he's grown to be
Was
a
a young
brother.
kid when you met him back then?
Yeah, he was. Well, he started writing when he was like 18 years old, man, and he I just was drawn to his story. He told me a little bit about himself. Yeah, I was in prison.
And
he was
writing.
on the street,
he
though.
wrote me.
But
And
you
he-
were mentoring him on the street.
yeah, and I
All
was
right.
mentoring him through letters, and
Okay.
he just became one of my biggest advocates at the time. He started like a little thing on his page.
Oh, I know who you're talking
He
about.
started,
Yeah, I know
started-
what you're talking about. I know
he
exactly
was,
what you're talking
was just pushing, he was just pushing, and he would be there for my mom and my family whenever they needed anything that had something to do with my freedom, and he just was a good dude, man.
Yeah, I know that dude.
To this day, we still like that.
Say so what?
So
like,
those are people who I didn't know before I got incarcerated.
Yeah, because Kane reached out to me one time. I said something about you or something on one of my lives or something. And Kane reached out. So what I just thought about this. Like,
Oh, David Lohr. Let me say that too from the Huff Post. We became real close. David Lohr, Michael Shaheen.
they
Those
from?
were
The what?
guys. David Lohr was a writer for the Huff Post. The Huff Post is a media
I know you're talking about.
type
Outlet.
thing.
Mhm.
Yeah, media outlet. So me and him became real close. Dave actually moved down here. Michael Shaheen, he's in Arizona, but he's another guy I met who was sincere. He came and he shot the first documentary that they had about my story
Okay.
or whatnot. And he was just a guy who was an independent filmmaker. And at that time, a lot of filmmakers had approached me, but it was just something about him that you know, because I'm a person who I go off of energy. I go off of vibes. If I don't feel you, I don't care how much money you got. I can't be bought. You know what I mean? So that's just me. And those are people who I genuinely, or who I felt were genuine, and we bonded to this day.
Say, was you and I know I want to ask you something. Was you and C ever around each other since you were like
Yeah, and yeah. As a matter of fact, you know, when I left C there, and
when you just left
yeah,
out?
he's still at Hunt, and that was one of the hardest things for me leaving Hunt. It was just hard. I actually asked the day, a couple days before I left, I asked the major over our yard, can she call him because you know they had everything locked down because of COVID restrictions. All of the dorms were separated. Nobody could intermingle. But I asked one of the majors at night, man, can I spend some time with him before I leave?
Right.
And so he came. We talked. You know, C always, you know, C is the kind of person, when he got love for you, he gonna always try to lift you up. He ain't gonna never want you to be sad or nothing. So, you know, he came with a smile, cracking jokes and stuff. And it was weird because I was watching him try to make me feel
good about
not bad about leaving him.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Right.
Like he was trying to make sure I didn't feel bad about leaving him. You know, and that was kind of hard because I know what he was doing. You know what I mean? Because as a friend, he didn't want me to feel, he knows that there's a part of me that felt just horrible leaving him, and he didn't want me to feel bad about it, so he just was joking and, you know, messing with me, man. And C is actually doing a lot for the guys that are infirmed in the prison. Like he's an orderly in their dorm, and he helping a lot of them out, man. And he is a voice for those dudes back there because a lot of those dudes are sick. You know, they have a lot of medical problems, and you know, he the one that goes talk to the administration and the people on their behalf to make sure they have everything they need back there. And that's what he do, and they love him back there.
Oh,
them old men love C, baby. You better not say nothing about C. Them old men back there.
When they moved him from Angola to
in 2017.
Okay.
He come to Hunt.
All right. Okay.
And you know, it was weird because a lot of people at the prison learned things about C that they didn't know. Like when he got there, they had a club for vets. I was like, yo, you need to go get in the club for vets.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And he was just like, all right, cool. And he went. Because a lot of people didn't know that C is a Desert Storm veteran. Yeah. A lot of people don't know that. And you know, he's doing a lot, man, back there for those guys that need help. And I'm pretty sure that they can attest to it. They appreciate him.
And for the record, he another one that's back there for a crime.
A crime
he did not fucking
Right.
commit, bro. And that was so fucked up about it, bro. And say, bro, Marcelo, you just don't know. The system's so rigged against them fucking dudes. That's a shame, bro. Because them people know that fucking man ain't kill that man, bro. You know what I'm saying, bro? They know, and they knew that. They didn't just know that like now. They knew it from day one.
They knew it physically. And
from day one. They did hold that man as political prisoner, and that's fucked up, bro. You know, I don't see why, you know, your case, C case, they got a few other cases, Aaron Land. I could go on and on, bro, you dig what I'm saying? Gregory Sockwell. But they got a bunch of dudes that's literally in jail for crimes they didn't commit. And what's fucked up about it, not Harry Connick. Well, yeah, Harry Connick, when they prosecuted all these dudes, bro, he knew that what he was doing was wrong, and he still allowed that shit to happen. Just because of they name and who they was. Just because of they color their skin, man. That shit fucked up, man. You know what I'm saying? They got this man on parole for this shit, man. That shit crazy, bro. That shit really crazy, man.
I think it definitely needs to. I do think it.
Need to change.
There are things that need to be changed within the system, and I think and shout out to the brothers who actually, because there are guys that in the prison and on the streets, you know, that's actually in that law library, researching and coming up with ways to present stuff to the legislature to get some of that change, man. You know what I mean? And we need those guys to stay in the fight and don't get discouraged no matter what. Because
we had a few of them on the show, though.
But this the thing, though, bro. It's not the dudes that's putting the groundwork that ain't getting it done. It's the black and the white people that's sitting in your senator's office, your representative office, your state congressman, all of them, because they got the right to change that shit and rewrite it how it's supposed to be.
Right.
And they refuse to do it. You know why? Because that's acknowledging the mistake that they made.
Yeah,
And they don't want to accept it.
I think that is definitely a part. I think what I think is weird, just like when you hear about these cold cases from like 40 years ago, you'll have a district attorney that's in office right now, or whomever. I'm talking about whatever county across the United States. You'll have, say those guys been locked up 40 years, they file a petition. Unfortunately, the way the system is set up right now, the current district attorney, many of whom probably wasn't living when these crimes were committed, they just have to have a automatic opposition to whatever petition that person is that's presented. And I think that's unfortunate because they shouldn't even be in a position to do that. Meaning what I mean by that is the pressure that's put on them by the public to do that. So once again, I bring every problem to us as the public because I think the public has to have a change in mindset. And once the public changes its mindset, the system, which is a product of the public, will eventually change. For instance, it goes back to being or treating others the way you want to be treated. I used to sit in prison. Guys watch TV. I watch this. This is a bunch of criminals now. We watching the news. A crime committed. We like, boy, they gonna give him 1,000 years. Man, they need to do him this. But wait, ain't you in here for? So I say that because this is how people are, man. This is how people are, and it's real talk. We'll have on the streets, man, when it's their son. Oh, my baby, give my baby some mercy. Y'all ain't had to give him them 5 years. But if it's somebody else's child, we like, they need to lock him up for life. I mean, it's just,
oh, they gave him 5 years?
So I think that when once the public start treating people the way they themselves want to be treated, and when we start being as merciful with others as we, as the mercy that we want on us, then I think everything would be cool. Because I was told as a kid, the one who pleads for mercy is oftentimes the least likely to get it.
Yeah.
I was told that as a kid, man, and that is true to this day. The person who pleads for mercy is oftentimes the least likely to give it. And I think that we should start considering others when we pass judgment.
I agree.
No, you're right, bro. I'm not saying you're right,
I just
bro.
like the zone that
No,
you
I'm
just
just saying. That's crazy, man.
I like the beautiful
Shout out
movies
to
and the
G,
shit.
man. Happy
They
birthday,
say,
G.
oh, happy
Happy birthday,
happy
G.
birthday to the OG,
Thank
man.
you.
Happy birthday, bro.
Thank y'all, bro. That's all right, bro.
That's why he's feeling so great today. That's good. Bro.
Actually, no, but I'm glad to see the brother home. I told him, back then he was gonna get out sooner or later.
Yeah, man.
You just ain't know it was gonna be that late, huh? Yeah, I'm just saying, bro.
Hey,
Can I say shit? Shit.
Yeah.
Damn.
You should be allowed to say everything you want to say, but to be honest
I
with you,
know.
bro.
Wait, hold on. Let me get my OG voice. For the record, I'm 44 years old, and I say what I want to say.
Right.
you got that was your OG voice?
No, but we
No,
need to
I
get it
couldn't
safe,
get.
bro.
I
For
think I
real.
lost the OG.
Them people need to give you a
My
public
street cred gone,
apology, bro.
though.
The street cred gone to know. Once you put that music
I was
out
here.
there.
Look, when I got out, my son looked at me one day when I had on. He said, "Man, you can't be." My son was Baton Rouge, so he had the Baton Rouge accent. He was like, "Man, I gotta take you shopping, man. You hit, man." He was looking at what I had on. When I left, man, it was a different style of dress,
Yeah,
man.
man.
What that called when your son tell you that?
Yeah, my son, but he don't let me live no moment like that down. He be on me. Man, what that is, man? What you doing walking around with that on, man? I be like, man.
Say, it's a blessing to be able to be back home to your son, though, and get that
Oh yeah,
relationship together.
oh yeah. My son is a fool. That's a real fool. Yeah.
Say, so check this out. Y'all know we do Choppin' Game. Today we had somebody extra special up here. MOG was in a beautiful mode
Yeah, bro. We had
For his
McKinley up
birthday.
here,
for
bro.
his B-Day.
Bro,
Boys
just
beat
to
it.
see that the man home, bro. I'm glad to see him home, bro. Knowing they had the man fucked up behind. I hate that shit to see niggas locked up. Real niggas, mind you, locked up for shit they didn't do for that long a period of time, bro. So,
I got a
you know,
question. Do the public know, just for those who may be first time tuning in, it might be kind of slow to the streets lingo. When he said got him fucked up, that means I'm gonna try to translate this in the whitest voice I can. When he says that, he's basically saying that the man was falsely accused of a crime.
Right.
All right.
So, another episode of Choppin Gang, y'all know what we do, man. See ya when we see ya.
Whoa.
Hey.
Man,
Bro,
get a picture,
The
bro.
funny thing,
bro.
the funny
Give me my rollers while I can still smell them. Please don't wait till I'm on my way to heaven. Our Father, who art in heaven. Give me my roses while I can still smell them. Give me my roses while I can still smell them. Please don't wait till I'm on my way to heaven. Our Father, who art in heaven. Give me my roses while I can still smell them.